Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our NUS Business School e-Open House live panel. So we just ended a session on where we hear from our students about their student life, and we hope that we have given you a little bit more enlightenment on your questions. So similarly, if you do have any questions now, do feel free to type in the Facebook comment section, and we will be able to see it today. So today, our session will be focusing on career readiness, preparation for your future, and on our panel today, we are very excited to be having Kenneth Lam, Clarence Ong, and also Abdul Rahman. So now we'll let the panelists to introduce themselves. So Kenneth?
Okay, so my name is Kenneth, one of a team of dedicated career advisors for the undergrads at the business school. Right, we help our students basically to prepare them for their career right from year one. So it's not that we wait until they are year 4 when they are graduating that we help them, but we believe in a very holistic approach, and we get them ready, getting them through the courses that we do, right? So some of the things that talks about their CVs, that talks about interviews, about how they do networking, right, as well as their personal branding, right? And then of course we talk about LinkedIn, okay? But beyond that, we within year 2, we find that it's important for us to actually sit down with them, 6 students at a time, right? So 6 students, what we'll do is we'll go through their CVs together, and then we'll do a mock interview. But you realize a couple of things is that when students come in, some and all of them come, I guess all of you have different expectations, right? A couple of days I was just catching up with one of our alumni. He has his own business, right? And I remember meeting him when he was in year 1. And he already has his own business, a film business. So if you want to check him out, you can find him at OKJ Works. Year 1, he already has his own business, and he take the business course so that he can build his business. So he knew exactly what he wants. But there are a lot of other students who come in not very sure, right? They will experiment, and then we'll find out along the way, we'll guide them along, right? So I'll leave Clarence to share a little bit more about himself.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Clarence, one of the 5 career advisors in BIZCareers as well. So the BIZCareers office, we are not just a group of career advisors who cover different industry. So we do have, we also work very closely with our fellow colleagues. So take for example, we have Vanessa, who take care of training. So she actually arrange workshops that covers critical skill like financial modeling as well as assessment center. And we also have colleagues like Lynette, Ethel, and then Umi, who basically covering the ops. So that's where we basically post up exciting recruitment activities as well as opportunities real time to our students so that we can capture all these opportunities. So these are some of the things that we do in our office, and we'll elaborate more further with your questions.
Okay, so it's my turn now. I'm Abdul. I am an alumnus of the NUS Business School, and I'm also an associate at the Boston Consulting Group right now. So I've been working for about a year, and I'm a clear beneficiary of the good work that people like Clarence and Kenneth has been doing. So Kenneth was actually my career advisor from year 1, and he basically saw me grow through the years from an undergraduate in year 1 who didn't know what he wanted to do to someone who was fairly certain and able to portray himself correctly or appropriately in front to potential employers. Yep.
All right, thank you very much. So now we have 2 students and also from the 2 representatives from the career office. And today we hope to be able to tackle all of the questions you have about career preparation and also future readiness. So once again, my name is Jolene. For those who did not tune in at the previous session, my name is Jolene and I've just graduated last year, same as Abdul. And I'm currently working in as a functional consultant in Salesforce. All right, so we have our first question today from Justin. Justin is asking, how many internships does a student typically have?
Right. I guess from internship is very important. What we've realized is that students who do not have internships, right, normally will struggle to find a job. So at business school, it is quite typical to find that our students taking up at least 2 internships. I've seen students with 3, 4, 5, and even 6 internships. Right, so it really depends on how hungry you are. Right, so one of those hungry people, I guess, will be Abdul. I'm sure he can tell you a little bit more about his internship experience.
Okay, I guess for myself, internships were an opportunity for me to discover my interests. Like I've mentioned earlier, I really wasn't sure of what I wanted to do, right? I wanted a little bit of everything. I knew what my strengths were and I knew what I didn't like, but I didn't know what I want. And I think that applies to many of you out there. And what I realized was that internships actually allow you to try a little bit of each industry without committing yourself fully. Right, so you get to take it as a learning opportunity, decide whether this is the right fit for you, and eventually I ended up going to quite a few places. I went to a startup, I went to McKinsey & Company for a short consulting stint, and then after that I went to Accenture, MasterCard, Google, before finally deciding that consulting was the best path for me moving forward.
Thank you, Abdul, for sharing. And I'd like to share my own experience as well. I was also interning at a marketing firm in year 1 when I was studying, while I was still studying. And in year 2, I actually had the opportunity, and this event is actually organized by the Career Services as well. They have one of the largest logistics provider in Japan, Yamato Asia, to come down especially to give a talk to our students. And I was fortunately one of the students over there, after which they did an interview after the session, and I was recruited for a role that actually didn't exist at that point of time. So I was very fortunate to be able to join in, to have a summer internship at this MNC, organized by the Career Services as well.
Right.
So basically the Career Services actually helps to connect us to a lot of these opportunities, right? So they would organize career sessions with various companies who would then come down to school and share with us what the offerings were. And I was an attendee in many of these. I discovered the opportunities like Doreen and eventually applied. Yep.
So I focus on the tech sector, right? But I think I'm going to let Clarence talk to you about the finance, right, and how he works with the students.
Well, in general, what we do, we are talking about the business faculty together with the Biz Career Office. So we try to look into a few areas. So take for example, we want to basically build on corporate knowledge for our students, as well as to develop competencies that's basically relevant to the industry. Okay. And basically thereafter we focus on developing communication skills for our students, and of course with that build confidence, so for them to basically step out beyond our campus and basically into the corporate world. So with that, basically we have covered areas like what Kenneth has mentioned earlier, ranges from career planning to basically networking skill, to resume, to interview skill. And basically these are broadly the 4 areas that we are covering.
So now maybe just to seek on your professional advice, earlier on you mentioned that we will prepare students for what are the skills needed for the industry. So now what do you think are what do you think the employers actually look for in graduates today?
Right. I think the entire industry has changed quite a bit in the past couple of years, right? And things are becoming more and more digital. So the new skill sets are changing along the way, right? I think one of the benefits of the brand new curriculum is that every single student has got a greater emphasis on analytics, on data, right? Even as a business student, we are competitive, right? In terms of being able to handle data, right? They would learn how, all of our students will learn how to use, analyze data using spreadsheets, right? And all of them also learn how to figure it out using Python, right? And if there is also a new specialization where the students can actually specialize in business analytics, right? So that is one technical area. But beyond the technical area, you find that there are a lot more of other things that are important, right? That is rich for learning at the business school. One area is leadership, right? Not just through the classes that the students take, but also through the CCAs, the leadership positions that they take, through internships. They pick up a lot of new skills, right? How they collaborate with one another, right? How they communicate as a whole. So I guess if you have watched the earlier segments, you would have seen some of our current students. All of them are very, very good communicators, aren't they? Right. So those are some of the key things, right? Not just the hard skills, but also the soft skills. Yeah. You have anything?
I think Kenneth has touched on a lot of pointers. So I just like to add on that I think the part that I like about my job is that we don't just sit in the campus, we actually reach out to our corporate partners almost on a daily basis. So this basically allows us to get, or short of a better word, real-time intelligence of what basically requires in the markets. And with that, we quickly bring back to the campus, bring back to our students, and we hopefully work out something well for them.
Right, it's nice to see that our career office is so proactive in knowing, in updating and what are the relevant trends out there. And when you bring back all those opportunities for the students, how there's a question here from Crystal, does the school select the internship opportunities already, or can the students select them on their own? Maybe Abdul, you would like to share with your various internship experiences?
So in general, the rule is that you would be in charge of your own development. Like you are allowed to take ownership of your own career, and what that means is that you are allowed to apply to whatever you want, and the school does not stop you from applying to certain places. Yep.
Right. I think in terms of facilitating even some of the internships, right, from a couple of years back, we've introduced a credit-bearing internship. So which means that even during the summer, if you decide to take on the internship, you can actually use that to earn credits, right? For those who find that certain internships may be richer if they do it on the 6 months period or 4 months period, longer, that is during the semester, right? There is also something that is a credit-bearing internship. So it really, when it talks about internship, it really depends on what are the skill set the student wants to learn. So for each one of you, I guess as you went through, right, you recognize as you develop from year to year, right, as you become clearer in terms of where your career path is going to be, you recognize what are the new skill sets you need to build up and figure out where that gap is by the time before you graduate, right?
And in general, like to build on Kenneth's earlier point, typically having interviewed at a couple of places, it boils down to 3 key traits which employees seem to be looking for. Firstly, your ability to problem solve and derive insights, and that's what our data courses or data modules aim to teach you. Secondly, it's communication, basically being able to present yourself well, both verbally and in the written sense. And finally, it's in terms of personal effectiveness, being well prioritized and being able to meet deadlines and so on and so forth. Yep.
Thank you, Kenneth and Abdul. And from my own experience as well, I have my fair share of internships that I found through the school, and also other connections that I've met indirectly through the school or elsewhere. And the balance of all these internships, be it from startups, be it working in MNCs, helped me to really understand what kind of work lifestyle I want, and eventually which leads me to find my dream company and to really enjoy work as itself. Right, and now we have another question from Justin as well. He wants to know, how does SU option work? And perhaps we can tie it into how SU options help us with how to prepare ourselves for our own future. Maybe I'll start with myself. So in the year 1, because of the SU option, it allows me to have greater flexibility, and that flexibility allows me to take out a part-time internship with a marketing firm. So if there is no SU option available, I don't think I will be confident to take on an additional job. But that being said, I still did well in my academics, and with the SU option, I had the confidence and courage to try this part-time internship that I had. And having both experiences at the same time made me grow not just in terms of my technical skill sets, but also helped me to understand what kind of person and what kind of work I like to do, and what kind of character I want of character development I want to have. So that was really, really helpful for me, and I'm eternally grateful for me to have that chance, especially since we are so young and as year ones, we don't have the confidence to really take that leap of faith. What about you?
So for myself, I think the SU option allowed me to explore more topics, more areas of interest, things which I hadn't thought about prior. In general, it allows me to reduce the risk, stop worrying about failure so much, try out new things, and if I fail, it's okay, right? I mean, I don't mean fail, but if I don't succeed in getting the A or the B plus or so on and so forth, that's okay. At least I know what my strengths are, and if I do well, then I know that I would have discovered a new strength. So I think the SU option actually allows me to explore beyond just a single niche. Yeah.
Alright, so as our session is drawing to a close, so we have time for just one more comment if any of you have anything to add on. And before that, now I'd just like to say again, if your question has not been answered, feel free to email us or write it in the Facebook comment section, and we will try our best to reply to you. And there is a lot to explore, especially on our website, because we have our FAQs, our program briefing, and as well as our curriculum details all on our website alone. And feel free to also let us know if there's anything that we have missed out. And just want to check with the panelists, do you have anything else you want to add on?
Yeah, all good. So as Julie mentioned, please have the questions coming in and we'll be there.
Right, from my point of view, I'm looking forward to meeting you, right, as your career advisor. So join us soon.
Yeah. And on my end, I think NUS has given me a good head start to my career, and I hope that you give the school a chance, and hopefully it will benefit you the way it has benefited both of us.
All right, and I'd just like to share as well, I was very pleasantly surprised to find that NUS Business School, we have our own career advice, we have our own career advisors and our own office. So this is actually not common across different schools or different faculties. So I myself, when I meet my career advisor, it was more natural because they have time for us, and likewise there's a lot more focus on you as an individual, and I really, really appreciate that. Now, thank you everyone for your time today, and also to our virtual audience. So if you have any other queries, feel free to look at our website for the list of programs we have lined up for you to see if there's any other topics that you might be interested in. Thank you.
Thank you.